I sometimes use it when I want to do a transparent layer, especially if I have it in the liquid, because it'll do a very thin transparent layer like this. So I'm going to put on about that much on this canvas. Not a whole lot, maybe a half a cup. This is a small knife, you can use bigger knives. I don't particularly care about covering every square inch of canvas or wood. Sometimes I like to leave little bits of it showing through. When you start staining it, the parts that don't have gel on it will stain differently from the parts that have gel. So then you get another dimension. So you just kind of work this around and do whatever you want with it. This is not the color I usually use, but it's what I had in the desert. And it's a little pinker. You can use a Naples yellow light, or you can use a titanium buff, which comes in a tube. Anything neutral with a little bit of coloring that's not white, that's got warmish. This was raw sienna and titanium white, so it's a little bit pinker. But it's okay. And that's the first part. In considering marketing, which is not my primary driver ever, if you put a warm painting next to a cold painting, you will sell the warm painting every time. So I do tend to do more of the gold ones because they're warmer and they're, more appealing to people. But I personally love the blue and the coolness of it. So here's a Naples yellow light. The Stevenson one is a little bit colder than the. It's a little bit more clayish. It's not my favorite Naples yellow light. I like the golden better. But you don't need to buy all these pigments. If you just want to try this, use your regular titanium light and mix a little of anything into it, any earth color. Umber will make a nice warm base with white. So you can use just about anything you have in your palette. Now I'm going to use iridescent rich gold from Stevenson. They have an iridescent rich and an iridescent light. So I'll put them both down here so you can see them, the difference between the two. One's darker and one's lighter. Can you all see that? So now we're going to start putting a little bit of metallic down here. Another thing about painting like this that you will like is that the pigments last a long time because you're using so much medium. Right? Less pigment, more medium. Some of the Opus products are amazing. It's almost nothing on here.
So you might like the dark?
Yes and no. I'm going to put a little darker gold underneath this, but I'm using so much medium that it's going on very, very light. Because I like this color better, I'm going to put it on top. I like the gold a little bit more than this darker gold, which is orangey. So I'm going to put it on top. It's good to use several different ones. If you use different layers of all the same gold, you're not really getting any variation or contrast at all.
So you've done it right on top of the other one, even though it's not dried up?
Yeah, I didn't have much pigment on it. I believe that you have to back away from your painting every 30 to 60 minutes. Get away from it, look at it from a distance, change your focus gets tired and lazy when you're at the same distance for an overly long period of time. But you get involved in it and you get in your right brain and you lose all track of time, and 3 hours later you look up and you've absolutely ruined your best painting. So what I do often, if I'm working on a very serious painting that I know that can happen, I'll put on a single CD and it'll be on the other side of the earth. And they're usually, 45 to 60 minutes long. So when the CD ends, it's like an alarm clock. And I have to put down my brush and walk to the other side of the room and put on another CD, and then I turn around and look at my painting. And then I go, oh, well, I didn't see that before, and you go back and fix it. So there's little tricks that you develop as you're working. So pretend this is the one I just did, and I put this color gold on this top part. And now I'm going to take it to this stage. Can you see that in there? Quite a difference. Because as you start adding the darker colors and the redder colors, you get all that contrast of the little light bits showing through. So there's quite a bit of difference between these two. But there's really not a lot more painting on it. It's just a matter of which pigment. So I'm going to take some of this bronzy one, which I love, and put it up here. And I'm going to, again, be careful to kind of almost dry brush so you leave a lot of little bits showing through of the yellow underneath. This is fun when you do this. If you imagine this on a 4-foot square canvas with a brush this big, it's a blast.
When you use the large brushes, can you use just the decorator type brushes for the hardware store?
For this kind of painting, yeah. Yeah. I use brushes from Home Depot and all those places for this kind of work because I'm very hard on my brushes. This is transparent burnt sienna, which I love. It's already a transparent color. So when you mix it with the medium, it makes it even more transparent. It's a wonderful color for glazing. Any color that's called transparent makes a wonderful glazing color. Now this won't have any reflective properties, but it'll have a nice color. So when it's dry, I'll go back over it with something metallic. Quite a bit on here so you can see the difference. This one I'm going to dry and then put some gold over it so you can see what happens when you use colors that aren't metallic and then go back over them with something that is. I'm going to go back over it with a gold, and I've got some on there, so I'll just use what I've got. And you can say, oh, okay, I did this painting and I put this color on it and I really don't like it so much. It's kind of knocked away a lot of the iridescence and it's a little too red, so you just go over it with something else, knock it back. It's kind of a push-pull thing. I'll do half. Do 1/2. It's very subtle because it's glazed. Now when the white dries, which I'll do right now. Good. This one? These are quite large. It's going to be a little bit noodly to do them on a little one, but I will do one to show you how it's done.